In this video, I'm going to share with you an amazing lesson which I learned from this week's Torah portion, Parashat Chukat. And if you stay with me on this video until the end, I will tell you an amazing story. My name is Maden. On my channel here on YouTube, I help people raise their awareness by sharing amazing tips which I learned in my life. I help people raise their awareness and become more successful as a result. Reminding you once again that the 100th YouTube subscriber to my channel, Maden, will receive from me a free gift. And I will ship you out that free gift wherever you live. Without further ado, let me get into it. This week's Torah portion, Parashat Chukat. Let me remind you, if you stick around until the end of this video, I'm going to be sharing an amazing story. Right, so it's Parashat Chukat. Further on, in the later chapters of this parasha, this Torah portion, the Jews turn to Moshe, and they say, "Dear leader, we are in a state of crisis here. We have no water." Moshe is quite concerned. What do I do here? So Moshe goes and turns to God. God says to Moshe, "Gather the nation around you and speak to the rock." Moshe goes, he gathers the nation around him. Now just imagine that, just picture that. Moshe's got a lot of people around him now. Imagine how he feels as a human being. If he wasn't a leader, he would definitely be feeling the pressure on. As a leader, he separates himself from the nation and he's still in that Holy Spirit and he's standing strong and he's going to speak to the rock. He gets to the rock and autopilot kicks in. He is a leader, but autopilot kicks in and he hits the rock in a state of autopilot. Water comes out and the Jews get the water that they seeked. God's not happy about this though. God's disappointed. God turns to Moshe, and he said, "I told you to speak to the rock. Why did you hit the rock? As a result of your actions, you will not be taking this nation into Israel." Moshe was very disappointed because Moshe really planned to go into Israel. And it's brought down in Torah sources that had Moshe brought the nation into Israel, the Jews would have never been exiled from Israel. So Moshe was very disappointed. Now let's figure out what happened here. What did Moshe Rabbeinu do wrong? First of all, Moshe, as a leader, hadn't separated himself from the people. As a leader, you have to quite literally separate yourself from the people. And when you have people shouting and yelling and putting the pressure on you, you got to separate yourself. It doesn't make a difference what the situation is. It doesn't make a difference what the pressure feels like. You're a leader. You were chosen to be a leader. You have to be above the people. You have to separate yourself from the people. That's first of all. Second of all, Moshe acted on impulse. He acted in autopilot. You can't do that as a leader. You don't act on impulse. You don't act in autopilot. It's none of your concern what the people behind you, what the people around you want. The main concern and the main objective is to do God's command. Just imagine a pilot who's flying a plane has people gathering around him, children rather, gathering around him and telling him how to fly that plane. What would happen if he flew the plane the way he's directed by those children? I wouldn't like to imagine. But getting back to the point, I just thought that would be the perfect example. Getting back to the point, Moshe is quite baffled. What do I do here? And his first impulse is to hit the stone, hit the rock. So firstly, as a leader, you got to separate yourself from the people. Second of all, you don't act on autopilot. You're not supposed to act on autopilot. Even if you're not a leader, even if you're a regular person, don't act on impulse. Don't act on autopilot. It's not good for you and it's not good for anybody. And third of all, You speak to the universe. God gave us the universe, and the universe quite literally carries our vibrations. That's been scientifically proven through Nikola Tesla and Albert Einstein. So this is not even a spiritual concept. You actually speak to the universe and you tell the universe, I have a request. So therefore, Moshe hadn't done that proceeding. He hadn't spoken to the universe, he hit the universe. It's been proven in mystical sources and even in scientific sources that a rock has certain vibrations and a certain frequency. A rock is not just a dumb thing lying there. If you hit a rock, you effectively hit a vibration, a frequency. And if you spoil and ruin the environment, you're quite literally disobeying what's expected of you as a human being who's expected to look after the environment. So quite a few sins there, Moshe got out of place. And as a result, he couldn't lead the nation into Israel. Now, this is quite a hard one. If you think about it, if you want to be honest about it, you'll realize that it's quite a difficult one to expect of a person. This is a leader, but he's a human being. A leader is expected to still be a human being. Yeah, he is expected to be a human being, but nonetheless, as a leader, there were high expectancies from him. He wasn't chosen as a leader because he was a regular human being. He was chosen as a leader because he was amazing and he was able and capable of separating himself from the people around him, not allowing them to be put on a pedestal. Often enough, I talk about the concept of not putting anybody on a pedestal, not putting any pressure. Any person who comes with threats and ridicule and harassment, don't put them on a pedestal. Just pretend they're just like you, and they'll be just like you. If you put them on a pedestal, you'll end up acting on impulse. That's an amazing lesson, or lessons rather, which I learned in this week's Torah portion. I want to follow on and talk about the amazing story, which I want to share with you. This story is actually a parable. And I heard the story from an amazing religious teacher and philosopher and also spiritual leader. The spiritual leader described the story as follows. There was a king who had gained amazing success at carrying out his intentions. And he wanted to try out his intentions with his wife, the queen. He shot his arrow a few miles away from where his queen was standing on the porch of their palace, and the arrow hit the ornament which was on her head, and it fell and made the ornament fall to the ground. The king arrives home on his chariot. He gets on a couple of miles later to his house. He says to his wife, the queen, "Where's your ornament?" Sort of expecting her to say, "Well, it was shot down. Oh, I'm concerned. I'm baffled. Where is it?" She's like, "Oh, I don't know where it is." The king says, "It fell to the ground. Look on the floor. It's on the floor." She's like, oh, yes, you're right, on the floor." And she picks it up. And he says to the queen, I was able to do this while standing a few miles away from this palace. So the queen turns to him and she says, "Well, practice makes perfect. Practice makes perfect." The king was not very impressed. He was actually quite angry. And he told his servants, "Take the queen and dump her in the forest." The queen was dumped in the forest, far away from the palace. In the forest, the queen notices an elephant. Okay, very nice. An elephant not far away. A couple hours later, that elephant gives birth to a baby, a tiny elephant. The queen decides to go and bathe this elephant in the nearby river. She does this every day. The elephant grows up, he grows into a mature adult, and she's still bathing him. tourists pass by and they're quite amused. How does a woman how does a human being for that matter, raise an elephant, an adult-sized elephant, and bath him every single day? Because this queen was quite used to doing it. She had been bathing this baby elephant from when he was a baby. So it just her strength carried on becoming stronger and stronger and stronger until the elephant had become an adult. So the tourists were quite amused, and they went and reported it to the local circus. The circus brought this queen, former queen, to carry elephants in the circus and amuse people. Word got around to the king, and the king said, "Wow, I want to see this for myself." And so they brought this amazing lady who carries elephants. They brought her in front of the king. The king sees this woman and he says, "Hey, that's actually the queen." And he says to her, "You're welcome to come back home." Then he turns to her and he says, "How did you do that? How did you carry a baby elephant?" The queen turns to the king and she says, "Practice makes perfect." That's my video today. That's my message today. If you like this video, press the like button. And if you haven't subscribed yet to my YouTube channel, press that subscribe button. It's that easy. And please feel free to share this video on social media, on all social media sites: Facebook, LinkedIn, Reddit, Instagram, email, WhatsApp, wherever you want. Feel free to share away. If you like this video, press the like button. And if you have a comment, please leave it in the comment section down below. If you want to contact me privately, I will leave the links where you can contact me privately. What did you think of my video on Friday? My transition, episode 7. What did you think of it? I felt that I went up a notch, to be honest. I felt I went up more than one notch in giving a clear description about what I was struggling with. But I want to point out that my struggle is only my bearing of responsibility. Only I am responsible for it. Nobody else. Everybody else is not to blame for my struggle in any way. I bear responsibility, and I'm very pleased as a result of taking full responsibility for it. Check out my video from yesterday. I will leave the links of all the 7 episodes about my transition. I look forward to seeing you in my next video.